a formal reading and writing, not more than that, because he was not supposed to get into the school and read and write. Thus, what happens, my grandfather, and this Narsaya Junior, as I told you, he marries a lady who was a beautiful lady, and then they migrate and then they go away. And then this land ultimately, an untouchable Sudra as per Manu's Smriti is not entitled to possess any property is applied to our junior Narsai also. Because he runs away from there. He leaves all his 2 acres of land, the grown crop and everything, and he buries his wife and then goes with his son. So thus, ultimately, even today also, the land is a dream for untouchables. They don't have any land. Throughout the country, they don't have any land. Not even an inch of land. Because that is according to Manu. Manu says that these Sudras, untouchables, they are not supposed to possess any property. And they have to only serve the upper caste. So, then what happens? Then what happens? My step grandmother, that is my father's stepmother, insists upon my grandfather to put him in a land labor, agricultural land labor. But my grandfather was not prepared for it. He said, I am working now in the railways, Why should I once again throw my son into this particular thing, where he becomes a Bijitagadu and where he works with the Dora 24/7, and I don't want to do it. And then my grandfather goes to the railway officer. His name is Franklin. Then those days, the late 19th century, there was a lot of work in the railway constructions, railroad construction and all those things. They are very hazardous jobs, and no caste Hindu fellow was prepared to work in the railways in such hazardous jobs. They were only untouchable, they used to go there. For their betterment, that I always, owe a lot of things to the colonial period, because they are the people who actually made us to work, and who made us to live in the colonies along with the many people. So, now, my grandfather, about the second generation, now it comes to my father, Ramaswamy Balaya. So this Ramaswamy Balaya, he works always, it is what we can say from his father, he also joins railways. Then there is a change in the lifestyle, and then self-respect, request for knowledge, the quest for knowledge. When my father decides all my children should read well, and all my children, because we are 8 people living in a small railway quarter. Imagine 8 children living in a small quarter, 1 bedroom quarter, small quarter. We used to live 8 people together, 8 children. And then soon after he is joining the railways, his only agenda is to educate his children. I'll tell you the first experience, when I was a small kid, when I was a school-going age kid, myself and my 2 brothers, my father was working in the roadside railway stations. So in the roadside railway stations, what happens, the village is far away from the railway station. And my father takes 3 of us to a school to join in the school. That was post-independent period. And the Brahmin teacher squarely refuses that you are untouchables, you are not supposed to get into the school now. You are untouchables. You are not supposed to read and write. I don't give admission to your children. Then my father goes to the railway station master. The railway station master in those days was a very influential person to the village. He goes there to the railway station master and says, "Sir, look, my children are not being admitted into the school." And that fellow summons teacher and says, Mister, now we have got independence, everyone has right to go to the school. If you don't admit them, I'll see that you are behind the bars as per the constitution. Then that fellow very unwantedly, unpleasantly says, then send them. You know what was the situation there, how we worked, all three brothers, you see that Narsimlu, Anjaya, Sattaya, they used to have their own racks and they used to sit in the corner of the classroom, and the teacher asked the caste Hindu boy to go and fetch our slates. And that fellow used to come with some water and then sprinkle the water on the slates. That is depollution. Because we are polluted, our things are polluted. And then this fellow gives these slates to the teacher. He writes alphabets and throws to us like this. That was the situation. That was the situation where we started our primary education in a small village known as Bonakanni. So my father was a very tough man. And then in the third generation, there's a cultural change, exposure to the wider society, moving to the capital city. My father gets transferred into what we can say, Secunderabad, which is part of the capital city now. So after having come to city, then we are exposed. We are exposed to the society and we get admissions in railway schools. And that is really a very big change, imparting education to the children to the highest level, struggles and difficulties at various levels to maintain a huge family. My father used to maintain a huge family of 8 to 10 children, that he is only a less salaried man. And then he used to work, with this extra labor work in what we can say, railway goods wagons to lift the goods from what you can say, the road to railway wagons. And he used to earn money for that. And he always used to say that everybody should see that the children should get good education. Because he foresaw in those days only that education is the greatest weapon. And one more thing, he was so much fascinated with that, with the people who were working with him. The railway station masters, the railway guards, the railway ticket collectors, they are mostly of upper caste and Anglo-Indians. Upper caste and Anglo-Indians. And my father's dream was, my children should speak in English. My children should speak in English and my children should get jobs in railways. Because his area was very limited, because he was working in railways. And he used to say, my son should become a station master. My son should become a guard. My son should become a big clerk. This was his imagination. And surprisingly, he used to wake up all at 4 o'clock in the morning. And we used to just sit in a line and then he used to ask us to read aloud. Because he wants to make sure that he reads it. Otherwise, with a book he may sleep. So that's why if anybody blinks, then what happens? Immediately he used to call him and then ask him to go to the wash his face and come back. That was his, what you can say, so strong a desire my father has with this huge family. So at the age of 18, Ramaswamy, with the help of Franklin, a personal officer in railways on the request of Narsaya, joins railways. My father joins railways. Then what happened? My father's name earlier was Ramaswamy. How it became Balaya is a very interesting story. Ramaswamy at his leisure time used to read stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Even the untouchables were very much surprised. What is that you are doing? It's a bad omen, don't read all those things. my father never used to care, and he used to sit in a corner of the platform and read books. And ultimately what happened, at one time, he meets a very disastrous accident. The rail, what you can say, wheel goes on his thigh while he was working. And all the untouchables and many upper caste people say, see, you started reading and writing, and that is a bad omen, and then you met with a very great, what you can say, a disastrous accident, a fatal accident, they say. But my father never used to care of these things. So, now what happens, my father, whose name was Ramaswamy at that time, he was implicated in a theft. His what you can say, colleague used to, what you can say, carry liquor bottles from railway wagons, and he was just standing there. And ultimately he was dismissed from the service. The same Franklin, where my grandfather goes to him and requests him, my son is innocent, he is not involved here. Because you see the magnanimity of the people there, Anglo-Indians, that he said, yes, Narsaya, ask him not to see anybody for 3 months. Let him undergo 3 months. So then after 3 months he comes, and then my father takes him and says, sir, my son. He says, okay, I'll take him once again back into the service as a foreign boxman, but see that his name is changed. So Ramaswamy becomes Balaya. From that time onwards, my father, till his retirement, till his death, his name was christened as Balaya. Because Franklin never wanted him to be on the records with the name of Ramaswamy because he was involved in a theft case. So thus my father, Ramaswamy, becomes Balaya. And Balaya recovers from the shock and starts a new life after rejoining in railways. He was posted as an interior railway station because they never wanted to see him in the capital city because people know much about these things. And then he was posted in an interior station, and he breaks the contacts with his own colleagues also. Throughout his life, he struggles against many odds to make his children educated, as he was with a single agenda of imparting education. At one stage, his 3 children, Narsimulu, Satya, that I already made it, that when they were going to the school, they were not allowed to get into the school. And then with the influence of the railway station master, they were admitted into the school. This is exactly what had happened. Having a big family with 8 children does not stop him sending his children to schools. Many of his colleagues used to say, why don't you make them join in railways as the lowest employee, and then why do you take so much of trouble? He said, no, my children should get good education. And does not work for additional hours also used to work, and even my mother also used to work in the agricultural fields to supplement or what you can say, income. And then what happened in those days, not only untouchables, many people used to have a second wife. And my father also had a second wife. And then, but second wife, his brothers were very much, what you can say, disturbing my father because daily they want a liquor and they want to drink and all those things. My father got frustrated with them because my father's agenda was to give education to us. And ultimately that lady goes, she lives on a petty quarrel. And then her son from my father, we retain him. You can see that my family tree. I just come to my family tree. See, look at the family tree. You see Anjaya, son of Lakshmama. See, actually, I made this, I avoided this and I sent to the publisher. Publisher said, no, Jay is not your mother's son. He is the son of a different lady. Then I had to put it like this, son of Lakshmama. And my apprehension was when the book released, I was very much afraid of my brother Anjaya. But he was so nice a person. He just hugged me. You wrote such a wonderful book, he said. I'm really very happy. Because he was the person who retired as a principal, government city college, junior college. Is the person. So, thus our struggles continued and continued. Then it comes to our education in railway school. At the age of yes, all this. Now I would like to tell you something about my own experience in the school. We're all untouchables, but even in city also, that is there. In the minds of people it is there, that this fellow is a Dalit. And I used to come first in the class. I used to take part in football. I was a very good goalkeeper in the school, inter-school competitions. And then one day, the headmaster called me. My name was Satya. It's not Satyanarayana. Satya, till what you can say, 9th class. He said, see the cultural changes, the cultural changes take place because of your economic changes. The economic empowerment makes what you can say, change in the culture of the life of a person. He said, Satya, your name doesn't seem to be not very respectable. It clearly shows that you are from an untouchable family. Why don't you change your name from Satya to Satyanarayana? Then I said, no, it is in the hands of my father, I cannot say that. And next day he calls my father and says, and my father really accepts. And from the school education, from the final year of school education, my name has been changed from Satya to Satyanarayana. Just like my father's name changed from Ramaswamy to Balaya, and my name is also changed from Satya to Satyanarayana. And now, at this stage, we are all grown-up children now, and we also completed our school education, all three. And my eldest brother, not so much educated, he joined in railways. And he joined in railways, his career started as a boxman. Now I would like to explain you what is boxman. A boxman is an employee who carries the boxes of what you can say, guards and then engine drivers. From their residence, he has to get the boxes on his head to the train. That is what a boxman has to do. So these drivers and then guards and then ticket collectors, these are all what you can say a moderate employees, and the railway appoints these boxmen to carry their what you can say boxes from the house to the train. You look at this, that these boxes are carried by what you can say two types of people, Sudras and then untouchables. A Sudra, that means it is the four Varna system, that the Sudra can enter into a house and take the box and take them to the train. But whereas untouchable was not allowed to get into the house. Untouchable was not allowed to get into the house. Used to go before the house, he used to say, boxman has come, Amma. Madam boxman came. Then the madam used to get the box outside and then sprinkle some water there. And then this fellow used to hold the box and then go to the train. See, we are fourth generation people. And my brother, eldest brother Balraj, appointed as a boxman, he was not allowed into the houses of the caste Hindus. You see, where is the change? A span of 200 years, there is no change. Untouchability still remains untouchability. And you see that very interesting part is, one Anglo-Indian driver, he calls Balraj, Balraj, come in, get into my house, take my box. See the acceptance of people. That acceptance is not there with the caste Hindus. That acceptance is not there with the Hindus. But whereas a Christian, he asked my brother to get into the house and take his box and put it into the train. See, first generation, second generation, third generation, even in the fourth generation, untouchability persists. Untouchability remains. That's why Ambedkar said, Mahatmas have come, Mahatmas have gone, but untouchables remain untouchables. This is what Ambedkar says. So, my dear friends, like that, my what we can say, the eldest brother named Balraj, he gets a job in the railways. And then my second brother becomes a matriculate graduate. And he becomes assistant station master. So, when we were very young, and we used to live in the quarter of my eldest brother, a very small quarter, where some 10 to 11 people used to live together there in that quarter. Now, see the transformation, see the changes, how the changes are taking place, how the cultural changes are coming, how the social changes are taking place. Now, when my second brother gets a job as a railway assistant station master, we moved from the small house, the railway colony small house, into a bigger quarters. And these bigger quarters has a kitchen room, a dining room, 2 bedrooms. Oh, we thought we are going to live a very luxurious life, that from what we can say, jawar roti, and then our habits have changed. Because the emancipation is taking place, this emancipation because of the education. Because my brother becomes a station master, he has a place in the society. Under him, many people used to work. Whereas my eldest brother used to work under him. There was a strange coincidence. My brother, the third brother, was a master, and the first brother was working under him. My brother, Abbasailu, his name, station master, gets very much embarrassed, and he says, brother, I'll get transferred from here because you have to work under him. My elder brother says, work is work. There you are my master, here I am your master at the house. So no change, don't do like that, Let us work together. So that's how there are many changes that are taking place in the family, from what you can say, that century to this century. So then our journey continues, My father, we all become matriculates, and then my second brother becomes a station master, and my third brother, because of lack of education, he also becomes once again a class 4th employee in railway. So that's how, and my father's dream, it is coming fulfilled, it is getting fulfilled, because one of my brothers studying English and all those things, he becomes a station master. That was his dream, See, my father's dream, had he been a peon in the collectorate office, he could have dreamt more things for us. Because his what we can say, sphere is very limited, so that is the reason why my second brother, and then we start entering into colleges. After moving to Secunderabad, Balraj gets transferred and headmaster, as I told you, and 4th generation. What is happening in the 4th generation? That is our generation. You see, the journey takes different turn from the bigger quarters from these bigger quarters, where they start living, the children pursue higher education, from graduates to postgraduates, including Abasailu, while working in railways, becomes a postgraduate. Drastic cultural changes take place, from a rustic food to a finer and decent foods, from squatting on the floor to dining tables, having tables and chairs while reading and writing, and modern gadgets to live a reasonable, good and respectable life. This is the style of fourth generation, where we all get educated, and that the travel is such way, that in the family we had seen the worst days as worse than animals, and then after procuring or after education, and then the social setup, social life changes, This is all Ambedkar dreamt only this. Ambedkar said the most powerful weapon is education. So with this, any what you can say social evils you can onslaught with this greatest weapon, education. So my father was not knowing who was Ambedkar, but he had his own dream. He had his own dream that the children should read and learn and then speak good English and become officers in the railways. So gentlemen, here postgraduate, drastic cultural changes has taken place. 3 brothers after this age become doctorates. I am one among them. An untouchable family. The family known as a Chamar family, a Madiga family. Getting 3 doctorates, even for people getting education for centuries, there is no family where there are 3 doctors, as far as my knowledge goes. And there is no family who are 4 academics in the family. The second brother, while working in the railways, he improves his education, he works in the night shift, goes to this college in the day, and then he, along with us, pursues a knowledge, gets post-graduation, and then gets MPhil and gets PhD, and then he leaves the railway job and becomes a professor in Usmania University Arts College, a professor of sociology. And the third brother, he gets his PhD, a botany. He becomes a professor of botany in Usmania University. And the fourth brother, he was a graduate, he was a postgraduate, he was a lecturer, and then he did not continue his pursuit his PhD degree, and then he retires as a principal of a college, government college. And coming to fifth, I am the fifth one. So it is there are phenomenal changes. The phenomenal changes working against all odds, because we're so much humiliated when we are in the schools. Nowadays, people are resorting to what you can say suicides. I quite often go to Hyderabad University and I tell my stories. You fight against the odds. Kill the evil in the people, but don't kill yourself, I say. Don't kill yourself. Kill the evil in the people who have. So that is exactly, that this particular type, that it's not only my story tells about it, but it also tells about the transformation of railways. From a howling engine, steam engine, to the electrical engine and the silent engine and all those things. Oh, yes, that I do. So thus, that the change, it's a parallel change, as the family grows, the railways grow. As the family grows, the railways grow. And after what we can say, and then, so this way, I'll tell you one small story here. It's a superstition, that these Dalits untouchables have a lot of superstitions. That they say that they go in trance, just like a goddess, and they go on what you can say, moving and then shouting and all those things. So this superstition should go from the minds of these untouchables or Dalits. See, one day happened, we have all our independent families, living, our lifestyles totally changed. Our children started going into the convent schools, and two of my daughters are in US now. One is in Michigan and the other is Virginia. So we believed in education. That's what my father gave. We wanted to give the same, the baton, to our children also. And the children, they were not knowing what is this untouchability. You will be surprised to say how I started writing this book. 2005, I came to Maryland, where my second daughter was giving a baby, delivery time. You know that the parents generally come, when their daughters or sons, there's a delivery cases, that they stay here for 6 months. So after my retirement, my second daughter gave birth to a girl, and then we came here. After 5-6 months, I saw the baby, a very chubby and a beautiful baby. I thought, at most, this girl will not go to India once again, because she's born here. And then, at the most, she may read what you can say black history. She may read slavery. How about their own family? How about the untouchability? Then I started writing my first chapter in the US itself here. That's how it prompted me that I should write and see that my children should know what is actually the history. That's what Ambedkar says, unless you read history, you cannot create history. So that is the reason why, I started writing the first chapter here. And then I had a lot of problems in the college also. The mindset of caste injustice is still there like that. However, excel yourself, they are not prepared to accept. So 25 years of my principalship, I had a lot of challenges to face. I faced them, I proved. Because my great-grandfather, excellence, I used to do anything, trying to do very excellently. If you do excellently the things, people accept you, whether you are from a touchable family or untouchable family. That's how I was accepted there in the college as a team leader. I worked there, and I saw that the college improved well. I saw that the college is a big library building, that the college has many, faculties grow there. So that means to say, given an opportunity, anybody can do it. It's not right. Dalits were deprived of opportunities. Dalits were deprived of they were not given proper environs. Now I am very happy to see all my Dalit people here. They talk very beautifully English, and they live very, a respectable life here, a social life. This is exactly what a social life. This is exactly what Ambedkar said when he joined Columbia University. Ambedkar said, I am so happy I am eating my lunch and dinner along with the other people at the dining table. So this is mostly what I can say. I have hundreds of reviews with me for this book, both in English, Telugu and other languages. I forgot to bring that, that I made a binding of it. Hundreds of reviews. So this is the real story. This is the story that has come out of my heart, from the bottom of my heart. So a person who writes, there are many creative writers in Dalits now. A person who knows hunger can write better what is hungry. A Brahmin cannot write what is hungry. He can write, he can describe what you can say, what is this forest, and then all the external things that he can describe. But he cannot describe what is hungry. Whereas a Dalit, it comes from his heart. He actually, now the trend is the creative writing among Dalits. There are so many Dalit writers now, because the opportunities are there. Earlier we were deprived of it. Now we got the opportunity. That's what I teach every student. When opportunity knocks at your door, don't ask the opportunity to wait. Immediately open it and grasp it. Otherwise opportunity will not come. So this way, my father, on 13th July 1983, the life of Balaya came to an end. That made his children to reach the highest possible heights in education. A man who became known as a role model parent among the Dalit communities. People from different places started pouring to pay respects. Railway officials placed a wreath on his dead body, a rare honor not generally given to any ordinary employee. So that was the last journey of my father. So all this has become from impossible to possible as our father Balaya gave us a powerful weapon, education. This has become possible, otherwise it's impossible. Had my great-grandfather not presented the shoes to Nizam, had he not given a land, we were also like the other the Dalit, what we can say, in the village. We could have been only in the village. See, migration is the greatest phenomenon by which a man grows, This is how, most of us are migrated from different places. He has migrated from his place and then he is pursuing his higher education. So all these things possible only, that's the reason why Ambedkar says, don't live in the villages, come to the cities where you have a lot of opportunities, pursue education. The pursuit of knowledge is very, very important for a man to grow. So opportunities, in most of the countries there are equal opportunities, but in India I am sorry to say that there are no equal opportunities. Opportunities are not at all equal there. And that's the reason why discrimination and then humiliation, insult, when once a Dalit student enters into the higher institutions, higher learning institutions, they belittle him, they look him down, because the language that he speaks is different, obviously, because he comes from a very different background. So, my dear friends, this is exactly what my presentation here, and I would like to stop here. But there are so many stories to say, but that is not the time, that I would appreciate if people ask me, interact with me, and then I can talk to them, and then I can share my thoughts with them. So I open it for what you can say. You can ask me.
I have two questions. So when your name has been changed to Satyanarayana from Satya, is it because that name belongs to typical higher caste people, or what is the reason?
No, what I mean is, this is not what you can say, all untouchables. They christen their names as what you can say, derogatory.
Yeah.
And that is an identity. For example, a man with the name Pochaya must be a Dalit. A man with Satya must be a Dalit. So what my headmaster, highly very nice man, he belongs to a Brahmin community. He calls me and says, this name, I don't know how he said, you are going to become a great man, but don't be with this name.
Okay.
Change your name to Satyanarayana. That's a caste Hindu name. So thus my name, the headmaster, he changed my name like that. Because I used to come first in the class, and there was a lot of what you can say, insults and humiliations I had to be met with, because the caste Hindu boys were not, very much tasteful with the what you can say, the performance, the work that I used to do it. And that's exactly what the reason is, that my name is changed like that.
So did you find the difference after you changed the name, that the behavior of the people towards you,
Sir, there are two aspects here. One is illusion.
Okay.
Whether you change your name or anything, if people know that you are a Dalit, you are Dalit. That's what I face afterwards, And I'm not very happy with the change in it, but at the same time, that the people outside our what you can say, area. When they say Satyanarayana, he must be a good Brahmin or some upper caste fellow. Had I been a Satya, oh, that fellow is a Dalit, you know. I'll tell you an example here. Assertion is very important for the people, you know. When I was a principal, somebody, a lab attender, a library attender made a comment. After all this Dalit Madhya, how many days he is going to work here? I was taken aback about it, you know. Then after a week days, I sent a order that so-and-so person is posted at principal's office. So that fellow joins me at the office and then he sits on the stool. And then I used to give a bell and call him for any pretty thing, you know. Go to that chemistry department, call that lecturer. Go to physics department, call that lecturer. Because I